Hello, my name is M.K. Davis. I want to talk a little bit about, rather than talk about something like giants or Bigfoot, I'm going to talk about the very opposite. And during my travels and journeys, I have come across and talked to people in more than one place about what they say is a tribe of small people or little people or diminutive or miniature people. And they said that they were more afraid of the little people than they were of the Bigfoot or giants or anything else like that. Well, I was reading a book called Moncot Ape Yazoo Mingo. Now, Yazoo is quite familiar with. That's my territory. And I found out from reading the book that this was one of the, probably the only Native American to ever travel. Back in pre-colonial times, ever to travel from coast to coast and see both oceans. So as I read the book, I come across this part right here, and let me just read it to you. Mound of the Little People. The solitary mound near the Vermilion River, visited by Moncot Ape, is the Spirit Mound, reported 100 years later in the journals of Lewis and Clark. The mound is still there on Highway 19, about 6 miles north of the South Dakota town of Vermilion. A roadside marker notes the historical significance of the spot. The mound is on private property abutting a feedlot, and permission from the owner is required for a closer look. A group of Vermilion residents have established the Lewis and Clark Spirit Mound Trust to purchase the site for posterity as part of the Lewis and Clark Trail. Well, that got my attention. Little people live there. And when I read about Moncot Ape and what the Indians that lived along that river told him, they said avoid it, don't go near it, that it is the abode of little people. They will hurt you or kill you. And they had oversized heads. Oversized heads. Okay, so I found a picture in the book. There it is. The Mound of the Little People, or the Spirit Mound of the Lewis and Clark journals as it looks today. The mound abuts a feedlot on private property. All right. Interestingly enough, Moncot Ape, rather than take their advice, did indeed visit this mound. And he said that he didn't see anything unusual. He didn't have any kind of an unusual experience or anything like that. Now, is that to say that these people were just paranoid for no reason? Not likely. Not likely. But at the time that he visited the mound, there was nothing going on there. The little people, whatever they were, the danger people, whatever they were, they're capable of hurting you, were not there. Maybe somewhere else. Or maybe they'd been killed off. Who knows? We don't have written history from then. Let's I'm going to show you a Google Earth. It's a street level of that mound. And somebody's been up on it with probably side-by-sides or four-wheelers. There it is with the grass growing on it. You see it's got 3 distinctive peaks, which to me was a little bit unusual. And what it reminded me of was the Owl Creek mounds back in Mississippi, which they were said to have some kind of a spiritual connection, you know, paranormal type stuff, lots of bad mojo. That would be in North Mississippi. Also, it has what appears to be one of these hinges or moats around the mound. Wait till I go back up a little bit. You can see it better there. See it? It's kind of like a rectangle. And that's very similar to the Naniwaya Mound of the Choctaws there near Noxapater, Mississippi, who also had a similar moat around their mound, and their mound was basically an effigy mound when it was new. So the 3 peaks might have been an effigy of an owl or something like that, you see. But at any rate, it doesn't look like there's any little people or little people with big heads living around there now. At least you can't. There's nothing in modern times to tell us that. I think I can find something. Let me see here. Wait a minute, let me get off this one. Show you what I found at Bluff Creek. And that's what the Bluff Creek area is, where I was told little people lived, and that every year Native Americans gathered up on top of Marble Mountain and left tobacco for the little people. And they were worse afraid of the little people than they were anything Sasquatch. I'm going to see if I can find this. I should have already found it. 2009, Bluff Creek. All right, let me just see if I can find this. In 2009, it was me, my son, and Don Monroe. We hiked back into Bluff Creek. And we were between the Notice Creek Bridge and the Bluff Creek Bridge, and we came across some tracks. Let me just see if this is one of them. Yeah, we found where they had been wiping the tracks out, you know, just like sticking your foot on them and wiping them sideways, back and forth. But they had missed a few. Our assumption was, and that's how small the tracks were, this is just a pocket watch. Let me just, I think I had one that's already sideways. There we go. There we go. Now you can see a little better. These are the toes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 5. This is probably another one right here. We casted that track, and I, like a dummy, I bumped into it and knocked it off the little table it was on and broke it. And Don had some more that he had cast, a couple of more that weren't wiped out. But some of them were wiped out. I'll show you what I mean by that. Hold it. Well, try right here. Right here. Let's just go till there's one right there. See it? See where they wiped it out by moving their foot back and forth? They were probably just ahead of us and got terribly surprised by us because we weren't in a vehicle. We hiked back in there, and they tried to eliminate the evidence. You know, the where we wouldn't notice. When we saw it, we thought baby Bigfoot. Maybe that's a baby Bigfoot. But at the time, I wasn't familiar with the term little people, and after the native people around there informed me, then I thought back on this. Let's see. That's pretty good right there. Let me just copy that one. I think you can probably see the toes. No signs of any claw marks or anything like that. Anyway, the foot's oriented with the toes to the right there. And there's a pocket watch, and most people have seen pocket watches. Tell you how small the track was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. What do you think? Was it some group like possessed this foot right here that was living near the Spirit Mound that became famous in the journals of Lewis and Clark, but 100 years earlier had been strongly advised to the Native American from my area of the country, the Yazumingo Moncot Ape. But he wasn't having it. He went there. But interestingly enough, Moncot Ape was, besides being a Mingo, he was a shaman, was familiar with the spiritual and with the perhaps even the paranormal. So he lacked the fear that most people would have had. Well, there you go. Let's see here. There it is. Let me see if I can find that. There we go. Let's just watch it again. Spirit Mound. You see the hinge around it? This is a rectangular hinge. I can show you that too on the Naniwaya mound. I have some drone footage of it. Okay, let me just look at that. When I said it was a bird effigy mound to begin with, before over time they kind of slough off. Here's the bird effigy video for Naniwaya. You see the hinge around it, just like the one there. You see that the three humps. That's just on cut into the face of the mound. And this front part of the mound, where that face was, where that effigy was, the grass doesn't grow the same. So you can still see it all these years in the growth of the grass. But I'll show you photographically here in just a minute. It should show it on here. There it goes. See the effigy? It's an owl with outstretched wings. See the ditch around it? All right. Let's do it again one more time. Not that much different from the Spirit Mound, but perhaps this too is a Spirit Mound. All right. And I put this up here just as an example. That's pretty much, it. It faces across the way there is a cave where they say a creature lives in the cave by the name of Champy, and that is a kind of a Bigfoot type creature that's very dangerous. And this owl with outstretched wings is facing that cave. Let's see here. Let's see what I have here. Look at that from inside the cave. You see where something's been going in and out to the point where it's polished. polished the side of the walls here, and someone put a wooden, it's a constructed piece of wood made to look like a snake, where you would see it upon entry into the cave. Let's see, here's another one. Here's some stitched images looking the other way. And further back in here you can hear water. This is supposed to be the cave of Champy. I wonder if they have any legends of little people. I did make it out of there. And I think I had another one where it's approaching it. You kind of get an idea. This cave formed where an ancient meteor impacted the earth. All this is upthrust from that impact. Interestingly enough, the Serpent Mound in Ohio is also on an ancient impact crater. I had nothing with me but a phone light. Not too reliable. I didn't see Champy. I hear that water? I just heard it. Let me listen to it again. Listen. Water dripping back down in there. I better not go down in there because it's pretty a steep descent. That's downhill. Anybody home? All right, good enough. So, little people, spirit mounds, caves, effigies, Moncalt Ape, Yazoo Mingo, Lewis and Clark. I thank you for your time.